One of the most accurate ways to select an object is by drawing around it using the pen tool. The only problem is that it's easy to get into a mess because the controls aren't intuitive. So in this video, I'll demonstrate an easy way to use the pen tool with the node tool to select this building. Then I'll delete the sky to create a cutout. Let's take a look. I'm starting with the image open in Affinity version 3. If you're using an earlier version of Affinity Photo, the tools and process are the same. It's just that the interface is a bit different. You'll find the pen tool in a few Affinity studios, but I'm using the Pixel Studio in this video. It's grouped with the node tool in the tools palette, which is usually docked on the left of the interface. Now, you may have your Affinity configured so that the subtool palette's visible. If you do, you'll be able to see both the pen tool and the node tool when one of the two is selected. If your subtool palette is hidden like mine and the pen tool icon isn't showing, click the node tool icon in the bottom right corner where you see this arrow. That displays the group containing both tools and you can click the one that you want. But an easier method is to use the keyboard shortcuts. Press P on your keyboard to select the pen tool and press A to select the node tool. Now, it's worth remembering these because they make drawing selections much quicker. If you're using an older version of Affinity Photo, the pen and node tool actually use the same shortcut. Having different keys for each is a nice change, and it makes life much easier. That's because this method of drawing a selection needs to use both of these tools. After selecting the pen tool, we can see the toolbar containing its controls at the top of the screen. If either the stroke or the fill icon is selected, click it to toggle the setting off. These controls are for when we use the pen tool to draw, not to make selections, so we don't want to use them. The only setting that we need to use is the pen mode option, so be sure that that icon is selected. We are now ready to add our nodes to the image to draw our selection. Now you can think of nodes as being like pins with string stretched between them. We need to add them to the corners of the object that we want to select. With this image, we only need to add 4 nodes to be able to select the building. A good rule of thumb to remember is to use as few nodes as possible when drawing a selection. If you add too many nodes, it becomes difficult to control what you're selecting. But don't worry if you don't add enough nodes, because you can easily add them later, as you'll see. Here are the positions where we want to add our nodes. To add a node, we just position the mouse pointer over an area and then click once. We can then move our pointer to the next position. Now notice that as we do this, a thin blue line appears connecting us to the last node that we added. This line is called the path, and it's like a piece of string. We can then add our next node by clicking again. Now, when it comes to adding the third node to this image, we want it to be just outside the corner. That's going to ensure that the entire edge of the building is selected. If we tried to click right on the corner of the image, there's a risk that we wouldn't be exactly in the corner and that we'd cut off part of the building. And we also need to do the same with the fourth node. Then, after adding the fourth node, we're ready to close the path. We do this by clicking the first node again that we added. Be careful to position the mouse pointer exactly over the node and wait for it to change. That's when you can click. This time when you move the mouse pointer away, you won't see the path line. If you do see it, it means that you didn't quite click on the first node accurately. To fix it, press the Escape key once on your keyboard. That will remove the last node that you added and you can try again. But a word of warning. Don't press the Escape key more than once or it will remove all the nodes and you'll have to start again. Once the path is closed, we can then move it into position to match the edge of the building. The way that we do this is using the node tool. You can press A on your keyboard now to switch to that, but I'm going to use the tools palette to make it clear what's happening. Once the node tool is active, we can use it to move the nodes around that we added. At this point, it's a good idea to check that the nodes are accurately positioned by zooming into the image. We need to check that the 2 nodes where the building meets the sky are on that precise point. If they aren't, click and drag them into position using your mouse. You can then release the mouse button to drop them. We only need to do this with the two top nodes. The two nodes at the bottom, outside the corners of the image, are fine where they are. Later, when we convert the path to a selection, the selection will just snap to the edges of the image. Having done that, we need to move the top path line so that it runs along the edge of the building. This is easy because the path is more like a rubber band than a piece of string. All we need to do is position the mouse pointer over the path and the pointer will change shape. We can then click and drag to move the path line up to the top of the building. As we do this, the path line bends, and we also see a line extending from the nodes at either end. When the line is at the top of the building, I can release the mouse pointer to drop it. Although the line is close to the building's edge, it doesn't quite match it exactly. That's where the two lines come in. These are what we call positioning arms that we can click and drag with the node tool. As we do this, we change the shape of the curve. Now it takes a little bit of practice to get used to doing this, but you'll soon get the hang of it and it's very accurate. By using both arms, we can control both sides of the curve so that it matches the building's edge exactly. It's best to take your time and not to rush this. When you think you have the edge in position, zoom in to 100% to check the accuracy. Now, if you're having problems making a curve match the edge, it may be that you haven't added enough nodes. If you decide you want to add another node, move the mouse pointer over the path where you want to add the new node and click once. You'll then see a new node with two control arms extending from it. These work just the same as the other control arms that we looked at, allowing you to refine one side of the curve. You can now work with the arms and reposition the nodes to make the path match the building curve exactly. But there is something you need to be aware of. Notice that when I adjust one of the arms for the newly added nodes, the arm on the other side of the node also moves. This will cause the other curve to move out of position. What I really need to be able to do is adjust the two arms independently. The way to do that is to hold down the Option key on a Mac or the Alt key on a PC when you're adjusting it. That breaks the link between the two, so I can now move one without affecting the other. It's then possible to refine the path to match the building's curve on both sides. When you think the curve is in position, check all along the edge. Now, I'm happy with that, so I'll zoom out. We then need to switch back to the pen tool to convert our path into either a mask or a selection. If we look at our toolbar, we can see the buttons for both. Let's switch to a mask first because there are a couple of important things to show you. The first is that this isn't like a regular photo editing mask. It's actually what we call a vector mask. Rather than being made up of pixels, the mask is a set of vector points, which means we can continue to move them round and refine the path. This is great, but there are common mistakes that you're bound to run into. If you see the mask isn't 100% accurate, you'll be tempted to move the nodes. But look what happens when you do that. The path seems to go crazy. This is because I'm trying to move the nodes using the pen tool rather than the node tool, and that's an easy mistake to make. If that happens, just undo the change by pressing Command and Z on a Mac or Control and Z on a PC. You can then switch to the node tool and make any changes to the nodes and path. Once you're happy the path is in position, you can return to using the pen tool. Then, in the toolbar, this time I'll click the Selection button. This converts the path into a selection. Also notice how the selection has snapped to the bottom edges of the image. Now for something important. After converting the path to a selection, you can't make any further refinements to it using the pen or node tools. It's therefore a good idea to save this selection as a spare channel in the image. We can then delete the sky by pressing the Delete key on our keyboard and create a cutout of the building. And if we switch to the Move tool, we can use it to move and resize the building. Now, as good as the pen tool is, it only works for straight and curved edges. For other selection types, the selection brush may be a better option. This video explains how to better control it in Affinity Photo, but it also applies to Affinity version 3. Thanks for watching today, and I hope you enjoyed the video. don't forget you can download the sample image used in today's video from my website. The details are in the YouTube video description. I'll see you soon for another video.